right, welcome everyone back to our newest edition. Hey,
Hey guys, hi.
how's it going?
Oh, it's going.
Yeah, don't forget about the stars. If you
Yes.
guys get a chance, 99 cents gives us 100 stars. And if we get enough stars, there is opportunity on Facebook for advertising. But also that 99 stars helps us just get new equipment and do things that we're talking about doing.
And hopefully catch predators someday.
Yeah, for all the shows too. Help? Yes, we are going to do that. So it's happening. Wow, see how weird it is? Look, too.
Yeah.
Not a picture ain't coming out.
Something's going on. Like, I don't know.
Facebook,
Like,
maybe.
yeah, maybe it's Facebook. I don't know. Wi-Fi or.
Anyhow, here I am. Guess what I did today? I almost cut my finger off.
Oh my gosh.
I was out in the back. I don't know what happened. Been there for 12 years now, and it's like a jungle. I can't believe how bad everything. They've always had like these weird like bushes.
Yeah.
There's weird vegetation where we're at. It's as high as the roof now, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I went back there. I had to use a hacksaw, and
Oh my God.
like an idiot. Yeah. But I didn't even have to call Robin, so that was good. No, I actually duct taped it really hard, and it stopped it. And then there's this stuff called new skin.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
That was actually
doesn't it burn when you put it on?
It does. It's like glue.
Yeah.
It feels like airplane.
It's like my eyebrow. I'm trying to.
Yeah. Oh, I see it. Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah. So we both got sliced.
Hazard to have nice eyebrows.
Oh, yeah, she's gonna slice on my forehead. I covered up the makeup with this slice right here.
Oh yeah.
On my nail.
Looks like you were in the ring. Yeah. Or the octagon. Yeah. All right. Why don't we shouldn't waste any more time? Our guest is coming back. Dennis Hannon. He is the man who was fighting for his son. Let's talk for everyone that might not be remember. Let's get Dennis in here just to tell us all about it. Hey, Dennis, how's it going?
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me back.
Oh, we're glad to have you.
Yeah.
All right. Last time you were on, we talked about your fight for your son. Just explain it to everyone again for the people that might be new.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, I've been fighting the unilateral gender conversion of my son since he was between 3 to 5 years old. His mother changed his name with the school and had him referred to exclusively as female pronouns. When I was picking him up, he was a boy. When he was going to school, he was a girl named Ruby Rose. And there were several people that helped hide this from me, one of which being Kenmore Town Tonawanda School District, as well as some therapists, Andrea Binner out of Buffalo, and even a Dr. Tran of University of Rochester Department of Endocrinology for puberty blockers. And this was done without my knowledge, without my consent, and it was effectively hidden from me for quite some time.
Wow. Yeah, and we had the video. You went to the school board. You told them, you said everything. And then you went back again about girls and boys playing sports together. And that's where they made you like stand up and have your back to the camera. Didn't they like just cut you right off the tape?
So I was censored. They got wise after I started going to these school board meetings. And so when everything happened with my son, and it wasn't until I found out through court proceedings and serving the school subpoenas because they wouldn't reply with information requests, that I understood the full extent in which they went to go to conceal the gender transition of my son from me. So I filed FOIL requests, which are Freedom of Information Law requests. You can find those at the website at the bottom of the screen there, indoctrinatethis.org. I put together these templates for parents to help them request more information on the school curriculum, what's being taught. And by requesting information on how they address, gender confusion, CRT, LGBTQ, and women that identify as men and vice versa, I discovered that the school was also allowing anybody that identified as a female to change in the women's locker room and compete in women's sports against them. So I'm there, I'm discovering more, through my own case. And as I'm discovering more, I'm seeing more policies that are just failing the people. And I feel like, hey, if we wait till there's a victim to one of these policies, it's already too late. We can stand up now. We can discover it now through FOIL requests. And hopefully we can make meaningful change to policies before we have another victim or another scholar accomplishment stripped from somebody that worked really hard for it.
Dennis, you oh, hi, Stacy.
Hey, Stacy.
Stacy's with us. Kim is with us. It looks like we're back now, or at least we're getting the
Yeah.
pictures back. So that's good. Everything. Scott's here.
Oh,
For a
yeah.
minute there, it looked like everything was
Yeah,
kind of running.
Facebook was down.
Yeah.
Andy said it was
Facebook
all over
was-
Twitter.
Oh, Facebook
Oh,
was
okay.
down. I could tell, but we're fine. We're on, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We're on.
We've been on.
Yeah.
I was not. There was something else I was gonna say. I lost my train of thought. What? No, why don't we go this way? What is new?
Yeah, so I informed your audience, I've been taking this, I took this case all the way to Supreme Court. It's been about 7 years of litigation, $150,000 later. The court ruled in favor of the mother, sole custody of the mother, who unilaterally tried to transition my child. They also gave her sole medical authority, so I have no say in any medical treatment, any treatment providers. And the latest is now I was just court ordered to pay by dishonorable Daniel Furlong of the Supreme Court in Buffalo. I was ordered to pay her attorney fees, which is over $19,000 within 1 year. So to add insult to injury, not only was I fighting the conversion of my son, but I also had to pay for the defense against myself that I lost ultimately. Which, and in his ruling, it's nothing but a First Amendment violation. It really is. He seems to base his whole argument off of awarding the mother fees and awarding her sole medical and custody because I shared pictures of my son online. Those pictures were of my son in a dress, giving shout outs to drag queens that were actually taken from my ex-wife's Facebook. So what we have is a double standard of the law. Her First Amendment rights are protected. She's allowed to share those pictures, but the moment that I reposted them and I used them in a context in which they didn't agree with, all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. And that's, I don't want to divulge too deep into that, but I really don't think that'll hold up in the law of the land in any kind of federal court.
And everyone out there realize this isn't somebody, Dennis isn't living in California. We're not talking to him from somewhere all over. It's right here, Kenmore, Tonawanda District. I mean, you never would think this goes on here, right?
Right.
Everyone doesn't think it's happening here. Listen to this.
You need to report Judge Furlong to judicial misconduct. I mean, I know it doesn't really do much because I've tried it with other judges, but maybe enough people report, I don't know, maybe enough people report him or something.
Well, speaking of reporting and somebody that we've been chasing, and then unbelievably, you get into the mix with Balkin. Explain how he gets in here. Another one of Niagara County's finest.
Yeah, so it's so wild how this kind of came to be, because I did 3 years of clandestine work with the FBI. I was a confidential human source, and I specialized in human trafficking and children that were victims of violent crimes. That was what I specialized in with them. But the FBI agent that I reported to, who was my handler, somebody that's just a name that we call somebody that I'm assigned to. So my FBI handler said, "Hey, I got a really good attorney for you who's going to help you with your case. He's a good guy. I vetted him. He's solid. I think you should give him a shot." And that name was Pat Balkin, which is Nick D'Angelo's former partner. And let me tell you something, Pat Balkin screwed my case so bad. He was actually referred to by an oversight committee by Judge Furlong for some of his misconduct. And I even filed misconduct about him because he stole a retainer, a $9,000 retainer of mine. So I find it very interesting, very coincidental, because as my dad always say, we're the company that we keep. And here we have an FBI agent who refers me to Pat Balkin, who is Nick D'Angelo's partner, who now parades Nick D'Angelo everywhere to all of his appointments and handles his cases for him. And now, as I know, just on this podcast, right, that Pat Balkin is being looked at for some other things as well. So very interesting.
That's not.
Pat Balkin should be in jail, 100%.
And you know what's crazy?
He should be in jail.
The dishonorable one there, Furlong, found him so disgusting. Isn't that crazy? It was so bad that one had to report the other scum, whatever you want to call
somebody
him.
else in the comments that has to deal with Pat Balkin now too.
Oh yeah, Scott
has to.
Yeah,
I have to deal with Pat, Nick's boy toy Balkin. And Nick stole $5,000 from my property in my divorce. Here, we got some other people that are making comments. We should read them. Let's see. Natalie says we must stop allowing our state to decide. Any family issues must be heard in the highest courts. Stacy says he gets praise, not discipline. And we Scott's there. Okay. So so now basically your fight isn't over yet, though. I mean, you're still fighting. Or how does that? How do you go forward now?
Because my fight is never over, my friend. It's just the landscape of battle evolves. That's it. The one good thing about this is when you don't have any money for them to take anymore, all that's left is your voice. Okay, my money is going to come and go. Their reputation for this is going to be tarnished forever because I'm not going to let it go. People are going to remember, and there's going to be other people that speak up, like the people in your comments, right? And I've already had so many people since the last podcast that I did when I was on Citizens United with you both. I've met a bunch of wonderful people just from doing that describe similar things. And that's exactly what we're sticking together. We're forming a coalition, and we're going to call these people out because there's other victims out there that are too scared to come forward and talk about the things that they experienced out of fear of retribution, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Because we know, we see it. It's hard. And it's hard. You know this better than anyone. I really want to ask you about your FBI, if you don't mind. I'd love to know how did that come about and what you were doing with them. I think you kind of said it a little bit before, but give us a rundown on that.
Yeah. So, more coincidental timing. Excuse me. The FBI came into my life right around the time that this started happening with my son. And I was doing a lot of hacking competitions. I was a judge and a mentor for UB hacking. I was mentoring students. I was doing a whole bunch of work just in that hacking area, that hacking space. And the FBI came to me. They called me and they said, "Hey, we have an opportunity for you. We think it's a good opportunity for you to help your country and put some of your skills to use and help us catch some really bad guys." So me being a patriot I'm like, hell yeah, sign me up. So to fast forward, I met with agents. I met probably every single field agent out of the Buffalo field office with the FBI. I was assigned a handler who's now retired. He was a special agent, former CIA. And I would meet with 2 agents at a time, probably 2 to 3 times a week. I was assigned a code name and alias. That was what I operated under during my time with them. I signed all paperwork under the alias. The alias was Grand, Grand. So any paperwork that I signed, it was never with my real name. It was always signed as Grand. I would pen that signature. And essentially, the Attorney General and DA's office would give me a script or a list of laws that I was allowed to break that a normal citizen couldn't. And I would pack up all my computer equipment and hotel room and luggage, and I would wheel it into a hotel room that they would tell me about the night before or the night of. And I would go and set up shop with these agents. But what I want to get to is, without getting too technical, but I want people to understand really what I did compared to what was advertised. Okay, what was advertised was I was helping my country, and I was catching pedophiles, and I was spending a lot of time in these chat rooms and the grooming boards and being exposed to a lot of disgusting things. Okay. But what we were actually doing, I owned a company at the time called Backplane LLC, and that's actually a legal, you can look that up, that's registered in New York State. And I was registered as an internet service provider. And what I did was the FBI paid me to run a whole bunch of servers as an internet service provider. So every time you punch in a website into your address bar, it gets routed somewhere, right? And that page comes back and it gets presented on your screen. I ran the servers that delivered that content to you. And these were government-funded FBI servers. So my focus was on pedophilia and human trafficking. But what I was actually doing, it was a drag net. It was, if you were in a boat, we threw a net overboard and we dragged it behind us and we pulled the net up back on shore and we looked at everything we collected. So if you were on Instagram, if you were on Facebook, if you were Googling stuff, if you were looking at WebMD to investigate a mysterious rash that you had, I would have access to that. There was nothing to discern illegal versus legal. So I had to build a search engine for them to sift through the data because it was so much. So I aggregated everybody's information. What I did was I helped the FBI with warrantless snooping on millions of Americans. That's what I did. Because not one single lead that I brought to them on human trafficking or pedophilia or anything like that ever resulted in a single indictment. They were more worried at the time with domestic terrorism and extremism, meaning speaking out against one's country, speaking against any kind of narratives, just silencing dissenting views and voices. So they used something near and dear to my heart, like pedophilia, and it was actually just a dragnet for warrantless snooping on anybody. That was it. And I hope that I explain that in a way that makes sense, because I'm a software engineer and I'm trying to simplify this for people so that they understand. But
no, we understand too. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, no. So you were mixing it up with pedophiles and the scum of the earth, and when you were in there, God, were you actually? Did you know who that? Not that you know who they were, but did you get like names and all that, or how did you? What happened there?
Sometimes we would, because what I was doing was I was running core internet services, meaning internet services that are required for you to browse the internet, right? So I got tons of requests, but I ran servers that were on the deep web as well, so that I could also capture those requests too. And so a lot of the times what we would find is we would find one person who maybe posted something bad, right, or said something suspicious. But then we could then follow them to see where else that person went to. Did they log into a Facebook? Did they log into an email account somewhere? And if they did, what email did they use? Did we capture the password? I actually had the ability to reroute the request to a fake site so that it looked like they were logging into Gmail, but maybe they were signing into something that wasn't. And I was collecting their password, right? And what we would do is we would gather that information, and we called it door knocking, because people are creatures of habit. So if you had something that you use a password on, I might be able to try that same email address and password on Instagram, Facebook, what have you. And there was a strong likelihood that you probably used the same password, and we would gain access to it.
Wow.
But to answer your question, there were people that were unmasked, because when you're in these pedophilia rings and communities, they feel very comfortable with each other. They welcome each other in open arms, like a sick, horrible, disgusting family, right? Where they can normalize their behaviors. So when they're among their own, in their own element in the wild, right? They tend to trust each other, and they might divulge in certain details, or they might have certain pictures that might have things that can identify them. And the ones that I did identify, I can honestly say that they were people they were family people. Some were judges, others were attorneys in positions of power, not just throughout the United States, but this was worldwide that I did this.
Wow. Yeah, I tell you, I don't know. Boy, I don't know. We've been talking about this for so long, and you're kind of did now, but you had to be frustrated because they didn't care.
No, they didn't care. It wasn't about, they didn't give a crap.
Right.
It was what they did was the FBI liked the idea that they could use somebody to target a specific individual or develop this thing to where they could all of a sudden have a search engine of everybody and what they accessed and when, and then a paper trail where else they might have went. That was all it was. They repurposed my work. Not a single thing resulted in an indictment, but they were so dead set on fulfilling the mission that I did. And if there's any nerds out there that want to challenge some of what I did, I have the code still. I have no problem leaking that. I will release that. I don't care. I have the code, I have the database, I have everything that I did for them. I know it's true.
What about did they, how do I ask you this? Did you think that it was more did you realize it was going to be so much of the scum? Like, you were in there with them and probably getting this really sick. And I don't know if people realize how deep this is. Child porn, the whole thing. can you, I don't know, can you give me like a thought on that? Like, how far does this reach? It's everywhere. And it just seems to, right? Does it feel like it's all around us?
It's everywhere. There's certain things that I can't do anymore because it reminds me of it. A lot of people ask me if I saw the movie Sound of Freedom. I did. I almost had to leave in the first half because that was probably the most accurate to the work that I did. The way that they would have code words in chat rooms, the way that they described one of the words that stuck with me was a spring sampler. They would do things like that. You could tell that so a lot of the pictures, these kids were in like a basement. They were tied up. They were chained. They were tortured. This is what they did. They were sold. They were looked at like pieces of property. You had fathers on there, asking who wants to impregnate their daughter, and it's just disgusting, horrible things that you can't even imagine. Were there, and I saw it all, and that's actually why I couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, they would string me along and I would have a hot lead and it would be like, okay, we are ready. We can get this person. We have everything that we need. We can buy a person. We are ready to buy a person if we want to buy one. All we have to do is get the approval. And it would take months for the FBI to come back to me on approval to do anything. And I told them, I go, I don't know how many times you expect me to do this with my hands tied behind my back. I'm delivering you these people and you're not striking. And so months would pass by and then the lead would go cold, and that was it. And we just repeated the cycle. And then I realized that they didn't care about what they posed it to me as. They cared about the idea that they could just warrantlessly snoop on whoever they wanted and really just make a search engine of everybody.
So, and then when you think about it, the whole Epstein thing and you see all the connections, right? And you see all the way to the prince over there in England and all that, they know and they just don't mind, I guess. They don't really mind the pedophile. It's the only way I can put it, right? I mean, I would figure they don't care.
Well, it's not a topic you'd want to be lukewarm on. You're either for it or you're against it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? You're either for it or how can you be halfway? I don't know. Yeah. This drives me crazy because I think of our court, I think of our system, the way the laws have been made. Let's say we were talking about a little bit before we got on the air. I mean, we always talk about on here, statute of limitations. Why? Why would you have statute of limitations on a guy who raped a little kid? Why would there ever be? And there is, and there's a reason why. And I guess maybe because they're all doing it in a way.
I think it's control. I found that a lot of when I was in these forums, when I was in these, I hate to even call it a community because it's so disgusting. It's a perverse term for something. But when you're in these pedophilia communities, it's all about control for them. I think that in some way, shape, or form, they're all insignificant in their own lives in some way. And their way to make up for it or correct wrongdoing that they maybe felt and early on in their life, that's how they do it, is they control kids. But I am by no means making excuses for these people because they need to be taken out back behind the shed. There is no rehabilitation for these people. I've seen the evil, okay? I've looked at evil so many times, and there is no rehabilitation. There's no coming back from this. If we let these people out, they will do it again and again and again because it's the way that they're wired. Okay. I have a solution. I'm not going to say what it is on here, but there's a solution to it. It's real simple. And it'll save the taxpayer a whole lot of money.
Yeah, I know the solution too, I think. Let me see what we got here. What's this? Would you say, and I haven't read this, so it's coming right off the message board. Would you say that the work we're doing was actually used to track those who are searching for the truth about trafficking so that they could actually track anyone who may disclose the truth? Well, interesting.
That's a very interesting question, and I can't say what they were using it for. I can only tell you what they weren't using it for because it didn't result in any indictments for pedophilia and trafficking. But I was giving them everything, right? So if you Googled something, if you went on WebMD, if you did anything, I was giving it to them. I mean, I was a data harvesting farm. is I was a giant silo of your information and I sold it to the government. And I ran VPN services. So anytime when you think about, you see these VPN commercials like NordVPN and everything like that, don't think for a second that the FBI didn't engage those service providers like they did to me, and they're getting a backdoor into your information as well. Because when people feel safe and when people feel comfortable, they become a target by the FBI, because the very agencies that were developed to protect us as citizens are out against us. They are nothing more than a propaganda arm and a way to control the American people, and that's how they do it, is through your data.
Yeah, what were you?
Why did you stop everything? Like, why aren't you doing it now?
I got tired of it. I got tired of living this life in these chat rooms and being like these people. And after a while, you start to lose a sense of yourself. It's scary when it stops bothering you as much, because you have a genuine fear that you're becoming the same monster that you're trying to catch. And when you see that none of the work that you're doing is resulting in any real traction or progress, it just makes it mentally taxing. And then you think about, well, okay, if they're not doing that, then what are they doing with the data? Then it really kind of slaps you in the face, and you say, well, then why am I doing this, other than I'm just violating the rights of millions of Americans because there's no recourse for the bad that they're doing.
But the government just let you walk away.
No, they didn't. And that's I'm glad that she touched on that, actually, because I tried to break up with the government like a bad girlfriend. And it was like it's not you, it's me kind of thing. And so I just stopped talking to them altogether. I shut down the servers, whatever I did. I said, yeah, I'm done with this. The FBI, I had an agent come to my house in an unmarked police car at about 8:30 at night at my house, and wanted to come in and talk and just look around. And it was purely intimidation. He came to my house, and we had words, and he left. And I get a call from the FBI still to this day every month. And the last time I got a call from the FBI, they called and they left me a voicemail, and they said that they were just calling to do a proof of life to make sure that I was still alive.
Wow.
And that was it. And they still checked with me. And, so no, and which makes me wonder, maybe I was the target, right? Because maybe that's how they found me, because, I'm pretty sure you can all guess who I voted for and my views on the Constitution and my certain political beliefs. Maybe I was a target, right? And I just so happened to have a certain skill set that they found beneficial to them. I don't know. I can only speculate. But what I do know are that there's too many coincidences in here, especially, and then as you lead up to the Pat Balkan piece of it, right? Yeah. It's like really eye-opening,
Burdette, who served, said, buddy, ever since we surrendered to the Taliban, I feel the same way about my service.
But
it's a horrible feeling.
But we both still love our country, and that's the difference. And we're not. And I hope he'll never stop fighting, because that's what it's about. It's if not who, then if not us, then who, right?
Yeah, and that goes for everyone out here that's trying to make a difference with this terrible. I mean, I don't know. The numbers are crazy. 60,000 children, and the United States is such a big consumer of sex. I think of pedophiles and sex trafficking. We might be the biggest.
Yeah, we could be. We could be, but we'll never know the real numbers, and the real numbers will never come out.
Burdette says never stop. Yep.
No, never stop. Never stop, because this isn't just about our kids, it's about our kids' kids. And unfortunately, they're never going to experience the same liberties and freedoms that we had when we were younger.
Well, let me say this. Last time you were on, anyone that gave us stars, I believe, had them refunded because we weren't allowed to make money.
Yeah, myself.
So we'll see what happens this time.
Yeah, that happened to me too. I gave you some, but then I tried after, and they came back. It bounced back.
So that's fun. But that's fine. I don't need anything. They can go to hell. I don't care. Let's see what the last comments are before we let you get. It's why Dennis and I had the same judge, Daniel Furlong, cherry-picked to terrorize our families. Jeez. Yeah.
There's patterns. Sure. There's always patterns.
All right. Dennis, you are the founder of indoctrinatethis.org. Why would someone go there? Tell everyone again.
Well, you should go there because, I post a lot of the videos, the news interviews that I do. We have some exciting plans in the future of maybe having our own podcast and planning that and how that might look. But ultimately, the goal is to spread awareness, help people get the Freedom of Information law requests. We have compiled some information to help parents identify indoctrination, especially if you're a divorced parent going through something like this, how you can identify early warning signs that your child might be getting transitioned behind your back. Also, a lot of helpful tips, like checking your school library card catalog for LGBTQ and gender. That's how I discovered Kenmore Town of Tonawanda. I had books targeting sexism and sexuality for kids K through 3. So the more we learn, we're exposing, we're naming these people by name, the judges, the doctors, the therapists, the schools. And as we get more cases and more reports of this happening, we are going to keep exposing those people on indoctrinatethis.org.
Well, Dennis, we're very happy you're friends with us.
Yeah.
Because our podcast is we know what we want to do. We just got to get there.
Yeah.
So you're going to help us get there, I think.
Yeah. So, helping each other. I appreciate the platform and this opportunity to reach your audience and spread awareness. This is not something I want to be known for, but if I don't do this, then it means that everything I've done was in vain.
All right, Dennis, we'll let you go. It's a nice night out. You take it easy, but I'll be talking to you off air and you'll be coming back because we got a lot to talk about.
Thank you. Happy to be back. Thank you for having me. God bless. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
You too. Take care, Dennis. All right. So Dennis Hannon, indoctrinatethis.org. Wow.
Really like an amazing person.
Yeah. Story. And he's been in the mix of all of that disgusting stuff. My God. Oh,
and then I saw that movie too, and I understand what he's talking.
Yeah.
And he said he saw what was going on, and because that's what that Tim Ballard was. He was behind the screen catching the pedophiles, but yet he'd never saved a kid.
Yeah.
So he went into saving the kids instead of going after pedophiles.
Sick what our government will let happen with no care in the world, not a care in the world. We've said it before, and we're right. Sex crimes mean nothing around in this country. Generally, I forget this county.
Yeah. We're the number one consumer. The United States is the number one consumer in sex trafficking.
Number one consumer in sex trafficking, and they sat there and knew when you listen to Dennis and didn't. It didn't mean a damn thing. And you see that though in your local communities. Yeah. When we talk about this stuff that we talk about all the time. They don't care.
Actually, by him being vocal about it, that's why I asked, did the government let him walk away? Because they're watching him.
Right.
So if anything happens to him, at least he's put it out there. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? This is a good thing for him to keep himself safe.
I think I saw he said that one time. If something happens to me, I wouldn't have done this or whatever. I wouldn't have taken my own life. I wouldn't, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Why don't we take a break? Because when we come back, we obviously have to discuss what happened. What day was it? Thursday? I don't remember anymore. All right, we'll talk about that. Delaney D'Angelo. It's disgusting. So hold on. Why did I do that? When we come back, you got a lot.
Yeah.
All right, let's take our commercial break, and we'll be back in a moment.
Digits 988 can save a life. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides connection to free confidential support. There is hope. The Lifeline works. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988.
All right, we're back, everyone, and thanks again to Dennis Hannon for from indoctrinatethis.org, and he's going to help us figure out. Niagara County better beware because it's coming.
Right.
It's coming for them. All right, so I'll do this quick. Just remind everyone, D'Angelo gets his 6 months. What we knew was
4
coming.
months.
4 months.
4 months.
Legit. Yeah, it actually is. It's on the thing.
Its release date is November 3rd.
So 4 months, and the 10 years of the probation that they say is so difficult to do.
Wait a second. So they already credited him?
Yes, it's already on there.
His release date is November 3rd.
Yes.
So he'll be out before Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, it'll be all good. He's fine.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna miss Halloween.
Well,
No,
that's all right. Yeah, maybe they'll do something for him. Maybe they'll let him out.
Yeah, maybe they'll
Yeah, right. So okay, that happened. You were in the courtroom. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we went in the courtroom.
Well,
When first we ran into him. We ran into him and Patrick Balkin in the hallway. So Patrick Balkin was with him. He's with him at every court day. Besides a few things, son gave him the finger. And so we go into the courtroom, and one of the victims did a nice victim impact statement. She was so brave. Her story was so sickening. I felt so bad. It gave me chills. She was saying that she didn't even think that she would make it out of the car alive. He was literally taunting her, like driving past her house, like thinking that she was going to get dropped off after raping her.
And he said, I'm not done with you yet.
I'm not done with you yet. And would drive by her house again instead of she wanted to be dropped off. So I said, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you. We're not muted.
No.
All right. Can you hear us at all out there?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
And he also told the girl that after he raped her, at least you got a free coffee. So at the end of her victim impact statement, she turned and looked at him and said, hey, Nick, at least you got a free jumpsuit out of that, which I thought was awesome. She also asked Judge Deborah Givens to give Nick D'Angelo level 3 sex offender status. So that was good too. But Nick D'Angelo didn't even acknowledge the victim, didn't look at them, nothing. When it was Nick's turn to talk, when Nick had a turn to say something, this is what pissed me off the most. He didn't say, I'm sorry to the victims. Nothing, no apologies for what he's done to the victims. He thanked the courts. He literally thanked the courts for all they've done for him and to continue working with them.
And I guess he should. He should thank them.
He should thank them. I mean, they should have all gave each other hugs.
High five.
Yeah, they should have all hugged each other.
Yeah. See you soon.
Yeah, see you in a little bit. And they put the cuffs on him, and that's when John and my mom ran out and they got the footage of him, which was great. That was the best part, was seeing him get put in the cop car. But it was a joke. It's just a joke. It really is. There's, for people who are saying, yes, finally, he's gonna pay and everything. He's not gonna pay. He's in jail for only 4 months. The DA said 6 months. It's 4 months. His release date is already out there, November 3rd. He will be out and ready to do it again. I don't care who his probation officer is. They're not going to be strict on him. He is going to continue. I also found out from another victim, he was doing stuff to her up until 2 weeks ago. So Nick D'Angelo was still doing his disgusting shit up until 2 weeks ago. And he said, just because I pled guilty doesn't mean I did it. So there's another, here's the album.
So I'll tell you this, though. It tells you that they're not, I don't know, this tells me, first of all, they weren't up front anyways. I thought it was 6 months, but could be 4. It's 4 before I even got in there.
Yeah.
So that was a lie. Yeah, they didn't tell the people the truth.
No.
They didn't tell the victims the truth. And then, obviously 2 weeks before, he's still doing it. He will do it again. If they want him, they'll catch him. Yeah. He's not going to stop. So if they want him, they'll catch him.
Rehabilitation. There's no rehabilitation for sexual offenders. None of that works.
I think that he got 12 counts of violent rape, plus tampering with evidence, witnesses, and obstruction. One of them was a child. And he gets 4 months.
4 months.
4 freaking months. And the DA thinks that's a win. And she wants people to praise her for that?
No, it was terrible. They all failed.
They failed. They could have done so
miserable
much.
Failures.
He used his position to traffic a child from CPS. I mean, that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he's a sex trafficker.
And they would not ever acknowledge this stuff.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to keep everything separate. It was easy to keep it separate, right? I mean, they kept it separate, and he was a good guy. He wasn't a risk.
What he pled to, he was charged with first-degree rape.
You know, bothers me. The FBI was involved. We were talking with Mr. Hannon. The FBI was involved in this. They did nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Where's John Flynn in all this?
Oh, he should be. He's disgraced.
Yeah, he knew. He's the one that was on TV saying all that stuff.
If there's a chance to vote for him in Erie County, you can't vote for him. No. You got to get a new DA in there. Because that's disgusting.
His television fun is over. He likes to get in front of the camera and sound up. He did shit.
Yeah, he did nothing.
He handed it over to a weak ass person.
Yeah. And we had a horrible judge too.
Yeah.
It was just a complete mess. I mean, might as well just kept it in Iowa County. What's the difference? We got the same result.
Yeah,
you got the same result here. This would have been the exact same result. No difference. Because they were going to give him something, but 4 months for a guy like him who's messed up in his head like he is, it's a walk in the park. He'll be asleep.
Yeah.
Sleep for 4 months.
Yeah, well, I heard about Larry Nassar was stabbed 10 times in prison. Unfortunately, Nick D'Angelo's not going to a prison. He's going to Iowa County Jail where he knows people and will be protected.
Well, he does get protected anyways because they put him in that one cell block where he'll be, like he goes to their, in his own room, basically. He won't come out for a little bit. Sure. We'd have a wonderful,
No, he's always getting people like him, so they'll just sit there and talk about what they've done and to who and everything else.
Correct. And then you got the guy here in town, Niagara, who's a scumbag, racist pig. Of course he is. He did. You know what? Give him 2 to 7 years. I don't care. But D'Angelo deserves 50.
The guy with the fence.
Yeah, he got 2 to 7 years in prison. But go ahead. But D'Angelo deserves 20 to 25 to life. Then.
Yeah, 2 to 7 for spray painting the fence because it was a hate crime.
Yes, wasn't this hate?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but one of the victims
raped lovingly.
One of the victims was a young black woman. So Nick D'Angelo's a white person. He raped and abused and tortured a young black woman. And how that could be considered a hate crime.
And when you heard her story, how about the fact that Clock threw out, what was that one charge?
Unlawful imprisonment.
Yeah, that was unlawful imprisonment when he's driving by her dorm or whatever it was. That's her not being able to get out.
Yeah.
And him telling her you're not getting out. Yeah. You're right. Elections do have consequences and people better wake up.
Yeah, speaking of elections, where's Janelle Faso? You should be coming out and apologizing to everybody. I'm surprised Janelle Faso didn't show up at the courthouse and say goodbye to her boyfriend, Nick D'Angelo. But you lied to everybody. You sent vulnerable victims to Nick D'Angelo, knowing what he was doing. Even after he was charged, you were sending people to his office and referring people to him. You big fat bitch need to come out and apologize.
Yeah.
You nasty ass bitch.
Well, because
excuse my language.
But think she knows what went on in the office, right? Because in her office is where a lot of shit happened.
A lot in her office where
and
a lot of
destroying evidence and all that
stuff.
She
did not have a relationship.
Oh yeah, they were nothing but tenants.
Did not have a
relationship. They just shared an office. There was no relationship with them. Lied all.
It was somebody who said that they have a sex tape out too. So.
Oh my God!
It was in my building. It was just in my building.
They have it like what? They're selling it?
Oh no, that they were.
How much the strings with the
Lord.
Your goofy boyfriend. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I mean, no.
Oh, remember what Jamie DePeterson's boyfriend said? Oh, if Nick D'Angelo's guilty, I'll put my hands on him myself. Where are you at, Jamie DePeterson's boyfriend? Where are you right now? I didn't see you at the courthouse. He's guilty. What are you doing? You're probably sitting there with Jamie DePeterson and Janelle Faso, sniffing coke and drinking.
You know what
what you guys are doing.
You know what I'd love to see?
Wasn't this guy's name Waddy?
You know what I'd like to? I'd like to see the who visits him, the records of who visits him.
I know.
That would be very interesting. Who goes? Because he's going to have visitors.
Oh yeah.
Who may go to see the?
John McCullough goes. Nothing else to do but pump on people that are protesting.
Well, we know Patrick Balkan will go visit him.
Definitely.
We know his family's gonna go visit him. We know Janelle Faso's probably gonna go visit him.
That's what I'd love to see.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because obviously that relationship is deep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, it just is.
I mean, they were caught driving around together during election time. For picking him up in her car and driving him around and everything.
The thing that I remember, it's a long time ago though now, was her office and that whole thing. Remember?
They tried setting up a robbery.
Yes, and that was.
Tried saying it got.
They tried to say you did it.
Tried to say I did it
at one time. So that's how crazy that was. It's like 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
That's how long ago.
That's how early she started trying to destroy evidence for him. And then she destroyed a computer tower with all the stuff on it, and then told Pearl, go get a new one. I'll give you money for a new one. You can't take this one home. Yeah.
So he sits in Niagara County Jail tonight. No. What's he got here? Janelle will have to
go visit and bring her son to see his father.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the situation from Lori right there.
And they got a tape.
If you know anyone in Niagara County, if you know any corrections officers, put in the word to make sure this guy doesn't have an easy time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody knows any correction officer, anybody who works at the jail, make sure you tell them to give Nick D'Angelo a hard time.
Yeah. At least for 4 months. At least for 4 months. I mean, and then when he comes out, what'll be interesting for us to see is where he gets his job. I'm very curious on who's going to hire him.
Oh, they're probably Patrick Balkan probably is helping work on that.
How about Patrick Balkan in the courthouse trying to be a smartass?
Yeah,
waving and saying stuff. I mean, that talk about stuff.
The fact that he's not arrested is amazing for lying to the state police, covering up a rape that happened in his office. I mean,
yeah, what's going on around here?
They just let shit like that slide.
Yeah.
They all suck. They
all
let
the rape slide.
So right. They let three other cases just say up dismissed.
Yeah.
That's insane. Everyone you say that to has never heard such a thing. Like when you hear like legal people, I want to know more. I want so bad to get a lawyer from out of town. I can't find one. Certainly aren't going to get a lawyer here to talk because they don't talk. They won't talk about this case.
Well, remember that lawyer I found that said he tried contacting every lawyer in this area. None of them would go against.
What if he would talk with us? Yeah. I have to ask him because I want to talk to someone from out of here and give them the real story, like even just how it went down. Like I'm talking just what the court did, how they dealt with this from no bail.
After hesitant, maybe not show his face.
No,
the name.
Oh, they don't. Yeah, we could definitely blank them out, but someone's got to stand. I need to hear from somebody, because this just seems. Like anytime I have had any discussions on Twitter with people that are from out of town, they just can't even understand what I'm saying.
Well, the girl for Belter, her lawyer went on all different TV shows and everything and said stuff. But when it comes to Nick D'Angelo,
Oh yeah, Henry. What was it? It was Caroline Wojtaszek that lied to them and said that the same thing they said about Nick.
Yeah. That
he will be violated. It will go back to he will go to prison for 40 years, and he's done violations and no one's looked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that. She doesn't do victims any favors.
No.
Right.
Carolyn,
you know that. Yeah.
And that was the beef against her. From then where I got yelled at because people were bringing it out that she's going soft on that kind of crime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've talked to so many victims who have been screwed over by Caroline Wojtaszek personally. Like, she does nothing for something.
And then she comes out and says she's a victim.
Yeah, she tries to be a victim.
She was the DA
on yours.
On mine.
Where they said no.
That wouldn't prosecute it for first-degree rape.
Yep. And so, I mean, it's laziness.
And D'Angelo ran her campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all laziness. And elections do have consequences. And these people get elected. Mm-hmm. They're judges. They have to be reelected.
Look at who Janelle Fossil's husband is.
Oh, geez, yeah.
A predator himself. I mean, she's obsessed with predators.
You can't make this shit up. It's unbelievable.
No, it really is. And how about when you add Dennis into this?
Yeah.
Now we have him on our show, everything else. Now all of a sudden here comes Balkan.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's got to pay $19,000.
Yeah.
And they take away our stars for his show and they demonetize us, which they probably will tonight. Yeah, they got to be watching every bit of this. That's why I have the Rumble account because I put our things on there.
Yeah.
They don't take it down there because someday I think they're just going to take our stuff down.
Oh, I know.
I'm sure it's coming where it'll disappear.
You know what I was a little surprised at? How come Little Bakery wasn't there selling their bread?
They should
have been that, but they're too busy right now playing victim once again.
Because you would figure they would feel so bad for the victims that they would have been there to at least give them something.
Yeah, well, you would think though because they worked so hard to help Nick D'Angelo, they would be
might
there
be
to support.
crying.
Yeah, they would want to support Nick, but maybe they'll deliver him free bread in prison. They'll probably give him free bread.
They are so concerned with the downtrodden and the people poor, right, and everybody that's hurt and the victims and all this, but they gave a shit less.
Yeah,
and this was one of the biggest things that was going on in Niagara County, without a doubt, and they had nothing to say. So now they're in trouble, huh?
Yeah, they're playing victim again, saying that the town's trying to go after them and charge them, which I hope to God they do. They got like court appearance date and everything.
That's from,
and that's because they were cooking, right? Or they were selling out of their house, right?
Yeah, they were doing stuff for free.
Janelle, or her father is in the town with them. They'll probably jump in and help.
Yeah, was he telling that? Yeah. One of them.
It says if you have an attorney, please have him or contact.
He's in jail.
Low Bakery's attorney's in jail.
He's no longer an attorney.
you know when you hear nothing from Nick's parents?
No, they didn't even come out and say shit. They didn't come out and say shit. You would think.
Let's see here.
They
Dominic
love
says,
their little boy.
laziness and flipping political connections. People like Janelle and Mr. Motions makes organized crime bosses blush.
Yeah, speaking of Mr. Motions, there's other not spectrum case, there's other case for the campaign fraud stuff. That's just being delayed. It's being delayed.
It's got to be dismissed, I'm sure, soon. Because they're not going to want to add anything.
He could commit all these crimes, plus set the DA up.
That was the one that blew me away. Like, that's why when we could
DNA evidence.
We could replay our tape. Because I remember when I said, no, they're going to do something. They're going to do, how does he try to set up a prosecutor like that? And they do nothing. They did nothing. They wouldn't talk about it in the rape cases. They wouldn't even, they acted as though one didn't equal the other.
Right.
So you're just playing dumb on purpose. So we got a problem. We know this.
Yeah.
As far as all of this stuff going forward, they just allowed him to have 12 felony sex crime charges and serve 4 months. Look what they did from him. They threw out 3 other cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
it's
they
unheard of.
For the one girl's thing, they took away one of the charges, unlawful imprisonment. I'm sorry, but that's the definition of unlawful imprisonment.
Oh my God, it is.
Holding somebody hostage in a car. Are you kidding me?
How do they listen to this? First of all, she did that victim statement, but they are the lawyers, the judges, and the DAs, they all knew this ahead of time. They already knew, these words. They knew. They talked to her. They already know what happened, and it didn't move them in the least.
No.
People are crying and upset. When you hear it, it's terrible. You're like moved to clap. You want to, give her a hug and everything. These people don't care. Yeah. That's how cold they are.
Gibbons looked like
they don't care.
She appeared like she cared.
Yeah.
But she had the same expression on her face the whole entire time.
Because she knew.
She had to pretend that she cared.
She knew this ahead of time.
You know what got me? Correcting her, telling her to slow down.
Yeah, I know.
So that this man over here can get all the information.
She cut it at least twice.
Yeah.
They have we are in trouble for this. You know what I mean? All around us. So if you're out there, think it can't happen to you, guess what? It sure as hell can. And there's no recourse for you. Basically, if your child or yourself, someone gets sexually assaulted, raped, whatever, good luck.
Yeah.
Because this county was able to make things disappear. Now, I can't believe that, and you're one of them. The victims in those cases were just basically told, "We're sorry, goodbye."
Yeah.
And someone else made that decision without asking you.
Yeah.
Like, there should have at least been that.
And the DA was just totally okay with it. Like,
she's disgraced.
Yeah.
And
totally fine with it.
And the judge could have done something too, right? They could have stepped in and said stuff.
Wait.
Let's see what Dominic has to say here. If that judge had a backbone, I would have thrown out that plea deal. Especially since there was so many more victims. It makes me sick. It is the most disgusting thing. Now, I have sent this. You have done it too, all over the country. I know you have. TikTok, crazy, all over. Twitter, I sent it to all the news organizations. Every single one. These videos, will send this one. All the time to Dateline, to all the ones you could think of. Even Nancy Grace, all of them.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. And I know they see it because they have departments that do that. You know that, Robin.
Because no death or something?
Me?
No, because the Bristol got picked up, man.
Because they just don't care. They don't really care about Niagara County either. In a way. I mean,
sure, they can every news station or what for a while.
And he had help doing that too, by the way. There's a money man behind that guy. Because he didn't do that well with his law practice, by the way. He was kind of just a government mule.
Well, I think we know the money man.
We do, and he's over there with the reporter. That's where it comes from. That's the money. It's been the money because that's the same guy that was involved with other stuff, which was the Seagrams thing and all that bullshit. So it's all a connection. And when you talk to the guy on Twitter who's in Japan who tells you that stuff, then you know what you're dealing with.
Talk about really quick Tony Farina eating his words.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ken Hamilton too. That piece of shit that he is. Tony Farina, in one of his little articles, said, "We believe the fact that he was released on his own recognizance was notable. some of these allegations are old, said Tony Farina, who said he was a spokesman for D'Angelo. He's a spokesman for D'Angelo. That's what he said. We believe when all is said and done, Nick will be cleared and will resume his life as a practicing attorney, Farina said.
Well, he hasn't said one damn
now
thing.
Now what, Mr. Fucking...
Not man enough to say I was wrong.
What he told me was, I'm not even friends with Nick D'Angelo. I am. Yeah, he's a lot. He's a liar. He's like Janelle Fausto. I have nothing to do with him.
Try to, we were just paid to do a job.
Yeah, he wasn't my friend. I didn't even know
you would, if that was true, you wouldn't be on the Vince Agnello show lying and getting caught lying.
Yeah.
Why would you have to lie?
Yeah. So
I was like,
all 6 people that listen. What a shame. And we're all in this room, I think, the 5 of us. Add someone in Georgia Optical. Yeah. That's the problem with I can't stand it. There is no media whatsoever except me, you, and the people out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when you seriously think about it, if you have a phone, you have to be the media yourself. Yeah. It's as simple as that. These are easy things to do. You don't need to go to somewhere and pay someone to do this. Ask me, I'll show you how to do it for free. You can do this stuff all on your own that we're doing right now. Run a podcast yourself. You don't even need anyone. You don't have to pay anyone to do this shit. It's that easy. Look what we're doing here. You just go on Facebook Live and talk. Yeah. But you can do it this way too. And StreamYard's for free. As long as you don't go over an hour, you can do StreamYard for free. So don't think you can't do it. Do it. You don't have to pay somebody. I would never charge anyone. It's too easy.
You're there to film it coming out.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
Nobody like.
Think about it. 7,700 people viewed that thing that we filmed.
Yeah. Where the hell were all those people?
7,700 views.
Where the hell were all those people the whole entire time we needed them?
Yeah.
All the 7,000 people. They wanna watch it, but they don't want to do nothing.
Right. Yeah, now it's like the car wreck.
Dave McKinley, Channel 2.
Oh.
Yeah,
there's another one.
He can fuck off.
Yeah. Watching this, I know what's going on. I watch the podcast.
You don't watch shit.
Dave McKinley, if you watch the podcast, you're a piece of shit and you suck.
Yeah.
You suck at everything you do.
Spineless.
They're all spineless. Every one of them.
Nobody would stand up for what's right.
I'm starting to learn from, thanks Scott for that nice thing to say. You know, I'm starting to learn that from the highest level of media, from like CNN to Fox, to wherever you want to go, to MSNBC, it's all crap. Yep. It's all garbage. They make you have to go to the internet. You end up having to go to Rumble. I don't even know how long we'll stay here. We may end up on another source.
All those stations. I went the most you can do to contact those stations.
Yeah. Nothing at all. And they don't give a damn. But you know, I'm telling you, this is why people got to think of alternate sources, right? You need alternate sources of news. And I keep harping on this. You out there that's watching us, and that you can be your own news. You know, I think it's the only way to do this now. You have to. There's no way, because it's how many things happen in the city that we never know.
Right.
Because they're not. Can I say I got to give someone a plug, and I never do this ever. Sal Panessa is a guy I used to know a long time ago. He started this. He was doing this before anyone else ever did it. It was like in the 90s. Remember, Robin? Mm-hmm. Early 2000s. No, it was early 2000s.
Yeah.
And he was doing podcast like this. No one else was doing it. Well, anyways, he's back. He's got something called NiagaraRadio.net. You click on local news. You get, like, he's a cop too, so he gets all the things. He'll read you the news. He even did the D'Angelo thing. I gave him credit. I listened to it. He said it, and he even said people out there are saying that this was way too short and way too, and they're. So I'm just saying, NiagaraRadio.net. I like Sal. He's a good guy. I mean, he might be a little compromised, whatever. But he's doing good with that. Yeah. Click on local news if you need to know something. It's everything. Everything from Nick D'Angelo all the way down to somebody slashing a tire. So that's what I'm saying. Go there.
Yeah.
But pretty cool. Yeah. No, it's pretty good. He does a good job. Tracy, I don't trust local or national news, unfortunately. Me neither. Not one bit. Not one bit. When you look at guys that have to go and take their stuff that were nationally known and go to places like Rumble and there's other places, because they know that's the only place they can survive. That's sick. It's sick. And hearing your local news, our local news is just terrible. Even when they
had a chance to do something on the schedule was so short and simple, so short and simple. Like they didn't even put any details.
No, the Gazette, the Buffalo News, terrible. So now what we got to do is write letters to probation, right? Yeah. Isn't that where we had?
That's what we got to do. We got to write to probation, and I think I could get the probation officer's number, his actual probation officer's number. Okay. I think I could do that, so I'll try to get that for us by next week, so everybody can have it.
Because we might as well start now. We'll just keep sending them, over and over. By the time we get to November 4th, they should have thousands. Right. Even if it's just from me, from us alone, they'll have them.
The only thing is, though, is if we keep pounding away, don't let the story die.
No, it ain't dying.
No, I think it's over with. Like, but that's the one thing I want to say to people. When people tell me, "Oh, now you can finally be at peace. It's over with. Roll of your life." It's not over with. It's not fucking over with.
No, it's not, because you didn't even have a chance to have your day in court.
No, I didn't. I didn't get my day in court.
And he'll be back out 4 months.
Ready to roll.
Put outside
and it's never,
scam.
it's never over.
That's right. And
Who's been raped and then it's just over.
Yeah, like now you
it's a lifetime.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Now we're good.
Yeah, it's a lifetime, and these people are idiots.
But you know what? They gave him 10 years of sex offender probation. He will be 40. Then he is done with all of that. He'll be in his fucking prime.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Ready to rape more. And the thing is, why wouldn't it be lifetime probation? Whatever.
Right.
50 years. Yeah, make him an old man by the time he's done. If you're not going to put him in prison, at least make it 30-year probation.
At least protect the public.
Yeah.
And that they don't do.
They don't.
Because think about that. They said he didn't need bail because he wasn't a danger to the public.
You know what pissed me off in court was
I do too, Tracy.
when she said that sex offender probation, when the judge said, "Oh, I don't know if I would even consider that freedom."
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
That's fucking free.
He's sleeping in his own bed, showering in his own shower. That's freedom.
And he has a job.
Yeah.
And he has no shame, so he'll be at every restaurant. He'll be out.
Nick was raping people up until 2 weeks ago. Telling this person, just because I pled guilty doesn't mean I did it. I'm innocent. Like he believes he's fucking innocent, and he was still raping somebody up until 2 weeks ago.
Somebody who was compromised.
Paying somebody $500 who had a drug problem,
Right.
and using that drug problem against them, like, fucking disgusting.
And all the way as he's getting ready to go to his big 4-day adventure, his 4-month adventure.
Yeah, knowing he's going to jail, knowing he's still going to jail, he's still doing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Knowing he was doing jail time, he's still raping people.
Dominic says the local news is shaking hands and kissing babies at Janelle's hot dog giveaways. Yeah, they do like going there. That's easy. That's fun.
Yeah.
You know, here they are. Oh, look how nice they're doing for the poor. In the meantime, they can give a shit less. And I don't know. But we can't let the story die. We never will, because there's a lot to
Maybe
look
we
at.
should start handing out hot dogs.
Yeah, I don't think people would take our hot dogs. No. We're kind of the enemy of the people, I guess. So they'll slap.
Poison.
Yeah, well, yeah. See, that's the problem. That's why they won't take them. You talk like that. Yeah, you're speaking like that. Ends all of our hot dog giveaways. So there goes the So we have. So I don't know. Well, I mean, we will never stop. We got now 4 months to write letters. Over and over. All 7,700 of you that viewed our little 5-minute video. Yep.
Yes, guy, you're right. Nick won't change when he's getting slapped on the wrist.
No, he ain't doing nothing.
Well, somebody could Hannon said that they don't change. When these people are what they are, there's no way to rehabilitate them.
No.
Statistics show that they don't get rehabilitated.
No.
They go on to do it again.
And the 3 that he gets sentenced for, there's 35 more.
Yeah.
45 more. I mean, it's like it's your first time. You don't get caught. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's his first offense. Bullshit.
No. Yeah.
It's
It's not even the first
I know.
offense that he's been charged with.
guarantee 2009 wasn't his first rodeo.
No, it wasn't. And we know that.
I know that
We
for a
know that
fact.
for a fact it wasn't. It went way back.
Yeah.
As sick as that sounds. And everyone has let it go. And they still are.
You did?
She was there.
They're still not, like he just said, like Scott said, they're just not doing anything. They're not doing it. This is nothing. This 4-month thing, at least if they had, and this wouldn't have been enough, but at least they'd have said 2.5 years in state prison. Yeah. I would have even taken that, and that's disgusting.
Or his 4 freaking months, but 30 years of probation.
Right.
30 years of sex offender probation.
If it's so tough. Yeah.
Now you're 60.
Yeah.
Right.
But some good news. I have friends that live in Vegas, in California, in Arizona, and they followed this, and they were going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The idea that this is what they say. I see nothing's changed in Niagara Falls. That's why I left.
Yeah. Well, here, if
No, it's just Niagara Falls. It's not.
Well, we're talking Stonewall. The falls is as bad as any place.
Niagara County, and look at Erie County came in to finish the job for us.
Yeah.
Those are Erie County people that did the number. Think about it. They did the job.
God, I would have rather not had help.
No, they were the worst thing that happened.
Yeah, they were given so much information. They were given information and proof and evidence of all these other things that he was doing, and they did nothing with it.
They would rather go after the victim. Heaven forbid they try to defend themselves. Correct.
Yeah, that's why they didn't take my case. They literally told me because I was talking too much. I was too open about it.
That's not.
I was too open about it, and I was telling people what was going on, and my case wasn't taken serious.
The evidence is so disturbing. The evidence is so numerous.
That's what they said.
Requesting he be held until trial. John Flynn. That's the Erie County.
I don't think he's a joke because they didn't listen to him.
Yeah, I don't know how they were okay with him doing what he did in that campaign.
Yeah,
I can't believe that
Did they ever
they keep on dismissing it, pushing it. They keep pushing it down the road. It's going to be dismissed.
Lynn doesn't care that
It'll be
he did
dismissed.
that to her. She doesn't care.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
He was going right at
her.
them.
He did make a whole lot of her.
She
You would
does a
think,
good job on her own.
Yeah,
you would think that she would be pissed off
It
about
worked.
that, want to go after him. No,
yeah, it worked for him in a way. It worked.
Yeah, he just got to he just
Got
got
4
to
months.
get away with more shit
Mhm.
with Lynn.
Yeah, I don't see that how in these. I'd be willing to bet. I don't have a lot of money, so who knows what. That in these 10 years coming up, there will be no violation of probation. He'll be just fine.
You know, people will report it to the probation,
Yeah, they
but nothing will be done.
After the first year or two, nobody's going to pay attention.
Again.
Oh, that's water over the dam.
Good pay attention.
If they really went after him, it would take all the good boys out, and they can't allow that. Correct.
Right.
Yep. And that's where if there's a good probation officer that will violate him, I don't think anyone comes to his aid anymore. Like I think at that point that will be it. He will get on a bus and go to Attica or wherever. But I don't know if anyone's going to pay attention. That's the thing. I don't know. I never understood this, why people just didn't wash their hands of him. Like, really,
Right.
what does he have? He can't help
I know
it.
what he got on Janelle.
But it's not
fun.
but it's but
Shape of fun.
but it's not enough. You're like your name's gonna start with a D. I'll tell you, he doesn't have enough. No one cares what he obviously. It doesn't matter. I don't. He's given way too much credit for what he has, and it's just. I think there's a lot of laziness too.
A lot of laziness.
I mean, like listen to what they say. Oh, you're talking too much, so we don't want to be bothered with you.
34-minute recording of information that they told me not to share with anybody. Make sure nobody hears it. Nobody's allowed to know about this recording because
It's just a game.
and nothing was done with it. And that gave them a ton of information.
And it's similar to what Dennis is talking about. When he did all that work trying to find pedophiles, he gave them all this information, and the federal government said, we don't really want it. Yeah.
Who gave me all the information on it? And
Think
all
about
that
that.
information that was found to be true and accurate? Jeff Fosso. Anybody wants to hear it, let me know.
If we could have got this on a big show,
Maybe we should play the recording.
then the pressure would have been on those people. The fact that nobody picked it up and really put it on a nightly thing.
Yeah, you'd have had to.
Then you would have something.
But I wonder if they even care because Henry, they blasted Caroline Wojtaszek on Inside Edition. Yeah, we played it here when the lawyer was on with Belter. Yeah. When he said no, we played it. We'll play it again. When they said he said that to the what's that?
What did he say?
I hear Janelle's taking people down to the Titanic because she won't implode.
Even
Scott Vegas is calling, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Stand up, beat comedian.
Yeah, you gotta write letters to the next.
oh, that'll be funny. Just
letters to
some
next
pictures of bandit stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what? I guess we gotta go.
Actually, we have a chance to put one of the posters up on his house now.
Yeah, we do. Right. Just so you know, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, and TikTok. If you want to follow us, if you're out there, we need some followers on Rumble so we can start going live there. So I'd love to go live there along with here. That would be cool. So if you're on Rumble, please follow us. What else? We got anything else? Probably we're done, huh? I don't know what we'll have next week. We'll have something though, because it never stops.
What we have to do is to find out if and when there's going to be anything about the other court charge. I mean, we just need to follow that.
Yeah.
And see
Yeah.
what the heck.
It was stopped on what? June 30th was the last one, right?
Yeah,
And they
it's
dismissed, they
delayed
pushed
again.
it back. So
Keeps getting it delayed.
yeah, because they're not going to report on it. There's no way the newspaper puts a story out about
Even though he's in
we'll have
jail,
to figure it out.
he can be taken to court.
Yep.
I mean, I work there.
They can dress them up
Get
if they
ready,
want, right?
Get them ready and ship them to court.
You know what? Did you see what Katie said, Rifford, which was really sad? I don't know if you caught what she said about this. She was watching him walk out in his suit. She said, you know, they dressed me in orange, put shackles around my stomach, around my legs, around everything, and made her go in there. This guy, she did nothing.
Yeah.
They shackled her and had her in orange, and this guy walked out like he might as well been doing a hat. You know, he could have done the hat dance.
Do the tear just.
Yeah. He was. I read that, and I was like, oh, that really says it all.
Yeah.
All right. We know. Let's go real quick. We haven't done our. We should probably do the YWCA. 716. I can't see. 433-6714. Oh, it's right there, big as day, and I'm.
I know. I didn't know.
If I can't see that, I should.
I didn't know either.
I might need to go home or go to the hospital. All right, 433-6714, 716 here in Western New York. But anywhere you're watching us, they have it in your state or in your province. And I know they break them down. Provinces like this. I don't know what they call them. Townships over there. I don't know what it is, but it's like cities, townships. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what their counties are called in Canada.
Right.
I don't remember. Let's find that out. But yeah, go ahead. I'd like to live in that county, the Hockey Puck County.
Yeah,
it's a much better county than this one. Yeah, 716-433-6714. They have people standing by to talk to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which would be Robin.
They have counselors that will counsel you right from your own home, over the phone. There's support groups that you can join with other survivors.
Isn't it like on Skype and stuff?
Yeah, where you
or
can,
different things.
Yes, similar things like that. And the advocates, they have advocates that will go with you to court, to the doctors, to whatever stressful situation.
They'll come to you at home.
Yeah, you might have to go to. And the one thing that I definitely recommend using an advocate for is if you're going to the police station or something like that, they set it all up. You just meet them in front. You've already got an appointment. Everything's all ready to go.
And if you're the loved one of someone that this happened to, get your head out of your ass and don't sit there and think that they did something to make this happen to them, please. And if you think that, call this number because they'll talk to you nicely and they will tell you, and then you should walk away with an understanding. If you don't walk away with an understanding, then you're just a jerk. So you would call there and get, figure it out because no one, I don't care what you guys think out there, no one wants this. No one wants to live with this shit that the two that are sitting here are going to live with. All right. So,
and there's nothing more important than support. I mean, you just can't.
No, someone's got to listen. That's all.
Without having people there that
just listen.
Yeah, to listen and
not be an ass and not be judgmental and all that garbage. All right, why don't we do this real quick? Human trafficking, because that's 888-373-7888.
You see the Call of Freedom, the movie?
Yeah.
The Sound of Freedom was attacked by the liberal left. They're going after the movie saying it's a right-wing.
Why the fuck? Why are they even involved? Shut the fuck. You know what I mean? Jesus.
I got to give credit to Fox News. They called it up.
Human trafficking.
If you know somebody who has been trafficked, or you think you know of somebody who's being trafficked, you've heard of somebody trafficking somebody, call that number. They will look into it. It's anonymous. They'll check it out and hopefully do something about it.
Man.
Hi, Uncle John.
So we also, let's not forget about Dennis. Dennis Hannon was on. He is the owner and creator of indoctrinatethis.org. You can go on there and figure out what your kids are listening, what's going on in your school district. What is it that they're reading or have reading materials for them. Also, he teaches you how to do FOIA. Oh, wow. That's an interesting one. They teach you how to do FOIA messages and stuff. So, yeah, you go ahead. All right. So, yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. No else has to phone call. All right, everybody. Indoctrinatethis.org. Give that a look because Dennis Hannon, our guy there, who's going to help us do a lot of things. And, yeah. So we should probably go home now.
Yep.
Robin, you ready to go home?
I'm ready.
Are you okay? Okay, good. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Scott said, Jerry, I heard that cocaine found in the White House with Janelle. All right, on that. Yeah, right. All right, everybody.
For you.
We'll see you next week. Keep an eye on all of our stuff. Like I said, we're on TikTok, we're on Rumble, we're on Twitter, and of course, we're right here on Facebook. Oh, this Saturday for the wrestling show, I can't forget, Ken Patera, America's Strongman, will be joining us. That's kind of cool. And then I don't know what we're doing for Friday. Spitball and Sports Podcast has Jerry Ostrovsky, who was offensive lineman for the Bills. He does a podcast. He can't be on, but we're going to have Sarah Lawson, who's his partner. So she's going to be on with us. We're going to talk everything about the Bills. So that'll be fun. All right, join us then. If I could find the music, I'd stop talking. All right, everybody. Take care.